Welcome to Cody and the Cinema. Today I'm discussing Death Rides a Horse. This is a spaghetti western classic starring legendary actor Lee Van Cleef, and Roger Ebert gave this 1 star many years ago. I have heard this being described as stiff, routine, formulaic, lacking redeeming human values, and I gave it 5 stars. I love it. I think this is maybe outside of the Fistful of Dollars trilogy and Once Upon a Time in the West. So far, this is like my favorite spaghetti western, and I'm actually like it like that much. And you got to understand, Once Upon a Time in the West is my favorite movie. Like, I literally have a couple of posters up here of it. Gosh, I love this movie. Why? What's so appealing about something that actually is formulaic? It is. It's predictable. It's obvious. There's not a lot of nuance here. This is a straight up, shoot 'em up, revenge flick. Sort of. I love it. Let me tell you why. This film, first of all, couldn't have been cast better. The young boy who sees his family murdered, who's going to go on a revenge spree. This is very obvious, very early on. It's just, that is what that is. This guy, John Philip Law, was perfect for this. He had a boyishness to him that almost reminds you of something like the actor from Midnight Cowboy. Can't think of his name right now. And he, you know what? He was actually Pygar in Barbarella. Can you believe that? I was looking up facts about this film, and I was like, this guy was in Barbarella. I love Barbarella, so no hate there. Because he is boyish when he needs to be, and he does have youth, but his dead serious stare, his 1,000-yard stare, works every time. He's highly effective using these guns. Like, he looks like an actual killing machine, but again, he can turn on the youthfulness, the childishness when needed. There's an important piece to that I don't want to talk too much about because I don't want to spoil the film if you haven't seen it. But there needs to be that level of vulnerability for that particular character to work. And of course, it's a good contrast to Lee Van Cleef, who basically plays himself. I think his name in the movie is Ryan, and the name of John Philip Law's character is Bill. Bill and Ryan, like whatever their names are. It's really, you know what? I even almost want to talk a little bit here, and I hadn't really thought of this before I sat down, but he almost is a little bit at times like the kid in Shane. I feel like he's looking, because in the beginning he's like sort of looking around at the action, seeing what's happening and trying to memorize all the killers. The narrative works better because there's a real stake that we share with that character. We have all, at some point or another, sat by and watched horrible things happen around us and felt powerless. And him being able, after a lot of training, to kind of become this self-made assassin is really satisfying to watch. And the juxtaposition with Lee Van Cleef's character, that all has a rhyme and a reason and a purpose, and it has a really good payoff in the end, because this movie has a terrifically haunting, powerful, disturbing set of sequences in the beginning that work well with these black coats and rain, and then at the end, there's a huge payoff involving Lee Van Cleef that you'll probably see coming, but it still works. Now, that's part of what works here. I think a little bit about the actual scenery, the Tabernas Desert, the fact that it's, let me tell you what wouldn't work. I just talked about Shane. This story would not work if you shot this in the Tetons like Shane, the Western I just said. That's like too majestic or something. It's not alien enough. That desert, those Badlands-esque looking, that scenery, like that is the scenery that was appropriate for this, because it does create a totally believable but otherworldly kind of mythology. This is a fairy tale of a Western. Okay, this isn't meant to be a deeply psychological, complex character study like something like 3:10 to Yuma, which I love. I love those dark, black and white films of John Ford in his later years. I like that kind of thing, but this is what it is, and that's okay. The Ennio Morricone soundtrack always delivers. He was my favorite composer. Obviously, if you're a fan of Once Upon a Time in the West and it's my favorite movie, well, duh, of course that's my favorite composer. This thing, like, gosh, the main theme, it's, in some ways, it almost feels like folk horror. I got shades of, there was a folk horror film I watched a few months back, like a Japanese folk horror. Like, I almost got shades of that. You know, there's some awesome Native American tunes in there, but at the same time, it's contrasted with this like Sunday school sing-along value. It's real odd stuff, and Ennio Morricone knew how to build those moods by combining different forms of music. It's beautiful, and it works so well. Again, this like serious, brooding, you know, got to shoot the bad guys, while at the same time you have this child hiding and watching his family be destroyed. That works so well. There is a segment where these bad guys are working in politics, and the political part of the film is just another bad guy thing, but I'm glad it was included because it shows how easily manipulated people are by their politicians. And there's not a lot of nuance to it, and there doesn't need to be. The bad guys might as well be orcs in Lord of the Rings. We don't care that Aragorn is killing an orc that's like kind of one-dimensional. It feels good. This is what you want to call it, like sword and sandals, but for Westerns. Like, it doesn't have to have anything other than its core elements put into place and executed well. And that's what Death Rides a Horse does. The more I think about it, the more I like it. I actually ordered a Blu-ray copy. It's in the mail. It's coming in. And the last thing I would say about it is I did enjoy... I don't know if there is a dubbed version, but I did watch this with Italian subtitles on, and I felt like that helped take me to another place. I liked the fact that I did not watch this in something that had to be dubbed like some of these films are. I was enchanted by all of it. I love this movie. What thoughts do you have about this or any other spaghetti western? Did you like my review? If you did and you want to click like, that'll help grow the channel. I am looking for more spaghetti western recommendations. I have not, for a western fan, I've always been a little bit more into the John Ford scene, that kind of thing, but I'd like to hear some more recommendations from those of you that have them. So leave those if you would. Comments are always great. Those help, you know, as well. And consider subscribing if you haven't. I cover lots of different stuff on here. Lately, I've been doing quite a few westerns, but I did just do a video the other day about 5 French films I liked from the Criterion Collection. So I try to cover lots of different topics. With that having been said, go see this film if you haven't. It's 5-star out of 5, and we'll see you next time on Cody in the Cinema.